What is happening, YouTube? Welcome to Moose Preparedness. I am Moose. It is dawning ever closer for Christmas and the holidays, Hanukkah, whatever it is you sell, whatever it is you celebrate. Anywho, if you're thinking of some last minute gifts, I'm a huge fan of training. And I've got a couple of recommendations on where you can go and what you can do. All right, so the first one is going to be more rifle-based training. But it's okay. You don't have to have a high-powered rifle. In fact, it's actually encouraged that you don't. So the first one is if you can, look in your area for Project Appleseed. What is Project Appleseed? It is an organization that focuses on the fundamentals of shooting, and it's all centered around kind of a Revolutionary War time frame of what folks were supposed to be able to do. And I took it, oh gosh, it must have been at least a decade ago. And when I was out there, they taught everything from proper posture, proper trigger control, proper breathing. It was a phenomenal course. It was, I won't say it was super expensive, maybe $100, $200 maybe. I get in trouble when I quote prices because people are like, it doesn't cost that anymore. When's the last time you bought a gas can at, $20? But go with me. It's very, very user-friendly. There were men and women in the class, very low pressure. If you're worried about physicality of it, most of the time it's done at a static range. And for me, it was great to be able to actually go through it. And then if you get good enough in the class, they give you the coveted rifleman patch. And so I've got my rifleman patch, little 13 colonies flag. Bottom line, it's really cool little gift, and you will learn something. Even if you think you're super Tommy Tactical and you're super awesome, you don't need the training on it, give it a shot. All right, so Project Appleseed. Second one, we're gonna go a little bit up higher in terms of cost. The second one I take a look at is if you are into a more physical side of the house, I would definitely recommend looking up a company called ShivWorks. Now, ShivWorks has several different types of training. Most of it has to deal with close quarters or with edged weapons. It's kind of their niche in training. I took their extreme close quarters combat class. It was over a 2.5 day period, and I got the absolute snot beat out of me, but it was great. I know that doesn't sound like it should be. Those should be mutually exclusive, right? Like getting beat up and it being great should probably not be the same sentence. But what they went into was everything from, I think it was like 3 yards and closer. We did pistol drills from drawing and shooting from the hip to get comfortable with being able to do that and knowing where you're shooting so you don't accidentally shoot yourself. They do a lot of grappling and Greco-Roman style wrestling so you can figure out body position, because if you get into a scuffle, if somebody gets close and in your business and you've never had that done before, it's a thing. We had both men and women in the class. Some of them were BJJ folks. One of them was just a gal who she was recovering from some past trauma, let's put it that way. She had been assaulted in the past in not a good way, and she was trying to take back that strength from her attacker so that way she was better off. I would not recommend the class if you are unsure of, if you're not willing to at least get a little dirty or figure things out. You will go to the ground. We actually had, for lack of better terms, a fight pit that was dirt, because it's one thing to roughhouse or to fight on mats. It's completely different to be actually out in terrain and get your stuff. You're in the dirt, the rocks, it's uncomfortable. And you realize really quickly that going to ground really sucks. That's why I'm not a huge fan of BJJ, because I think a lot of it's focused on ground fighting. Good to know, not my place where I like to be. I like to be on my feet. But you do everything from that. We did in the car, so as if I had picked up a hitchhiker, was being held at gunpoint. How do I get off center line, get my gun into the fight, and engage that threat? and I got paired up with a very wiry Navy SEAL, and it was a lot of fun. I'm just saying, he would have shot my arm, but I got a couple of good kidney shots, so with my standard 9mm that I carry, he would have ended the fight. They also have a class on edged weapons I have been really wanting to take, because I found the value. They showed me the value of having a small concealed, they call it a clinch pick. That's one of their kind of claims to fame, is their little proprietary knife that fits right behind the belt buckle, or right off the belt line, so like your arms are pinned, you can grab it. Super interesting. I would have really liked to have taken that class. They just haven't come in my area, and I'll be honest, it's hard to find time away. All right, and then going to a little bit more expensive. Excuse me. In September, I took classes with Tim Kennedy's outfit. All right, so going up in a little bit of cost, but definitely worth the value. Back in September, I took Tim Kennedy, who is a former Green Beret UFC fighter. He has classes through his company called Sheepdog Response. They happen to be in my area, so I decided I'm going to try it out. The tactical rifle class I took was okay. It was, I won't call it anything super new for somebody who's been in the military, but it was great for overall fundamentals and training. They went into some situational awareness stuff, which was meh, it was okay. Oh no, that was Protector 1. But bottom line was, I thought it was a very good baseline to go through if you've not worked a lot with your rifle. Now, I shoot a lot. I do competitions with my rifle, so I'm very familiar with it. But it was still good to have. I had, let's see, two former, one was former infantry, one was former ODA, Operational Detachment Alpha, Green Beret type, and then one SWAT team guy. Apparently he does a shotgun course. That's his thing. I would have loved to have had that opportunity, because I think combat shotgun's a lot of fun. But the tactical rifle course, it was like $400-ish, $500 for that particular one, and it was pretty good. Then the subsequent day, I ended up taking the Protector 1 course, which is a combination. It's mostly handgun, and then there's BJJ, there's fighting, there's knives, there's a little bit of everything, right? So the cool part is that if you're not skilled in one area, it's a nice smattering to kind of just show you the world. You're not going to learn everything you need to know in one class. And the trainers we had were excellent, and they told you straight up, they're like, this is not going to prepare you for everything you need to know. This is to give you a taste, specifically when it comes to BJJ or for fighting. I will tell you that the folks that were really good with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, one of my buddies is I think he's a purple belt now. He loves BJJ. He's a big advocate for it. But once you start introducing knives or guns to the fight, so that was one of the things they did. So like, hey, you're scuffling, you're on the ground, and then a knife would be close by. It changes the dynamic super quick. And the folks who are pure BJJ, who are used to the sport aspect, I found struggled when it came to, okay, I now have to address the fact that I don't care if you're trying to get me pinned in whatever. I've got a knife. Excuse me. And if I stick that knife in between your ribs, you can pin me all you want. Yeah, cool, you got me, it hurts. But you're going to bleed out before I have to worry about it. You know, I'd aim for femoral arteries. I was aiming for the pelvic girdle because I'm brutal, and that's where it stops the threat the quickest, right? So your femoral arteries, if you're not familiar, great way for a one-stop shop for getting somebody to bleed out quickly so that they're no longer a threat. So we did ground fighting with that stuff in the mornings at a Muay Thai gym, and got your sweat on, got tired, got wasted, right? So you're sore. And then the entire afternoon it was pistols. Most of it was not drawing from concealed, which I would have preferred, but that's also probably a safety measure, especially because you had some folks that took that class that some of them didn't even own guns. They had borrowed friends, or they were borrowing one from the course. Bottom line, it was a very good class to take. I think one of the downsides of the class is, again, didn't go as much depth as I would have liked, but that wasn't really what that class is designed for. It's to kind of give you a taste of things, and then afterwards get you going into the right direction. So if you're now on the flip side, that's all in person. So I want to say that class was like, it wasn't cheap, $700-800, and that's what I was going for. However, that being said, they do offer online courses. I have purchased some online courses from them. I have not taken them. So the benefit is you get the training, but you don't get the in-classroom instruction. I will tell you that having shot with some of those guys, specifically with the Green Beret type, knowing my background, what I'm going to do in my future assignments, he worked with me a lot in terms of better pistol shooting, and I was able to dramatically decrease my recoil and get back on target faster. And some of the nice parts is, unlike going to a shooting range where you're just static, it was up, down, you go up, kneel to one side, kneel to another side. So there's a lot more dynamic targeting, which I appreciated. And it was a lot more, they were okay with follow-up. So like, for example, it's not, some ranges I've been to is like, you can't have what they call like rapid fire. You can't shoot multiple times, like quickly, bang, bang, bang. These guys were shoot as fast as you can get them on target, but it has to be on target. So pretty good. Anyway, quick recap. So first, Project Appleseed, if you got it, great organization, relatively cheap, and good. It's 22. I think some military guys did end up bringing their ARs. If that's something you want to do, practice with that. But really good for fundamentals, and it's just an overall good class to take. Second was taking ShivWorks. So again, I did their Extreme Close Quarters concept class, but I would really like to take their Edged Weapons class. Very, very good training. I did find very good value for it. And then finally, it was Tim Kennedy and Sheepdog Response. Again, they've got online training modules. Maybe you want to try one of those if you're looking for a little cheaper gift. But if they're in your area, I would highly recommend going through and trying one of theirs. So hope this helps. Have a very blessed Christmas holiday season, and stay safe, and I will talk to you later out here.